ooh, I want that. Have you ever been in that situation where you see this like very rich dessert or bread or something like that, and you know that this will just make you want more, that it's addictive, and you know that it's bad for your metabolic health, and you know that it's going to make you gain weight, and yet you can't fight that terrible craving for these sugary, starchy, hyper-processed foods, and you find yourself eating them even though you know better. And maybe you know a ton about nutrition, and still you find yourself as if like there's this force that's beyond your control, beyond your strengths, that just pulls you to that food. Have you ever been in that situation? Well, that is the situation that is called craving. Basically, the reason why willpower and logic don't work, it's because it comes from the parts of the brain that are more primitive, the reptilian brain, that has nothing to do with logic, with learning, with knowledge, with willpower. It's in the much more primitive, primal parts of our brain, where it's like the eat, mate, kill. Now, even people who have been abstaining from these addictive foods and are really at a place of peace when it comes to not having to partake, not having these terrible cravings that make them lose control. Sometimes, though, you will sort of look at a dessert and maybe feel like, I want that. That looks really good. I feel like having that. It happens to me even now that I'm 25 years in of like no sugar, no flour. And, it's been many, many years since I've even slipped on these sugary, starchy, hyper-processed foods. And even so, sometimes I'll be in a restaurant, I'll look at other people eating like this amazing dessert, and I'll say, wow, that looks really good. I feel like having that. But that is what is called urges. That is actually a very natural reaction of the brain to things that are enjoyable, or we remember as enjoyable, because that is what motivates us to do things that promote our survival. This was a survival mechanism, right? When it was very hard to get food, people who were more motivated to get food were willing to make that effort, and that helped their survival. Same about sex and other survival mechanisms, drinking, thirst. But so you have to know that urges is a very natural part of the brain. And, sometimes people, especially when they first begin abstaining from sugary, starchy, hyper-processed foods, and they feel this wonderful freedom from the cravings, they don't even have urges. They say, I can look at an ice cream and I don't even feel like having it. I just feel like it's not mine, and that's all. And it gives its wonderful sense of freedom. And then maybe after a while, a couple of months or 3, or sometimes it will be even less than that. And suddenly they have this urge, like they feel like having it, like it's calling to them. And it's sometimes a little bit of a scary experience. Like, how is that I didn't have that? And now all of a sudden I feel like having this ice cream. So know that this is a very natural reaction to the brain. But here's the thing. And here's the difference between craving and urges. When it's just an urge, I feel like having it, but my brain is not overstimulated and dependent on that, like having that overstimulation from these addictive foods, then I can say no. I have the power of choice to say, no, not today, not until I go to sleep. And then it'll go away after a little while, even if it's a bothersome feeling, right? I can even say, just if I've changed my identity, I can say, no, because I am a woman who does not eat sugar and flour. I do not eat or hyper-processed foods. I do not eat foods that harm my body and soul. Only I choose to love food that loves me back, right? So then we can say no. The urge comes, recognize it, it's something natural, and we say no. But every time we act on that urge, then we are actually creeping closer to that red line where it becomes craving, where it becomes an uncontrollable drive to eat these addictive foods. And then we lose the power of saying no. So remember, urges is a natural thing that happens in the brain. If you don't act on it, it will go away. Do it the way you know. If it's just to say not now, not until I go to sleep, or, say no because that's not who I am. And remember that if you don't act on these urges, they will go away. They will become less strong, they will become less frequent. But if you act on these urges, then they will get stronger and more frequent, and then you are in danger of moving into that, red line of cravings where your power of choice is actually stolen from you. So the more you don't act on these urges, the more you protect yourself from cravings. If you liked this video, like it, share it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, Zippi Leave Nah,